Hey guys, this is just a follow-up to my last lesson. So I had a little trouble landing some of my transactions. They all went through at the end, but I'm going to show you this strategy on how to land them faster. So if you're using a free plan RPC node or shared RPC node, this is going to be pretty critical for you. You will need to add priority fees to your transactions to get them through, to increase the probability of getting them through. So let's get into it. So what are priority fees? Well, priority fees are optional fees that you can add to your transactions to incentivize the validators to include your transaction into the next block. So in simple terms, it allows you to get your transactions through faster. It's sort of like bribing the validators to take your transaction right now. So going back to the tokens API, we're going to go into the get swap transaction method. And inside this body that gets created, we're going to modify this body. We're going to go ahead and add in a new parameter called prioritization fee lamp ports. And we're going to go ahead and set that to a variable called priority fee underscore fee. Okay, this doesn't exist yet. Let's go ahead and add it to the inputs here. We'll go ahead and add it at the end here. And so we just made a modification to our method. So we're going to need to update the callers of this method. So we have to go up a level, and we're going to go to our trades manager. And let's go ahead and adjust our buy and sell methods. We'll just go ahead and add that in there. We'll add it after the slippage. Same thing with the sell. And here the swap needs to be modified as well. Needs to take in the priority fee. So in order to make this work, we have to add in the priority fee. We'll go ahead and add it since it comes after slippage. We'll add it there. Okay, we're done here. Now we go up one other level in our main, and then we're gonna modify the make trade function that we created or method. We'll go ahead and add in priority fee in there too as well. So the reason why I'm adding these as inputs is because this could be a variable thing. Depending on the competitiveness of this token, you may want to change your priority fee. So if it's not a very competitive token, you wouldn't want to add a high priority fee. You might want to adjust your priority fee based on competitiveness. So this is something that should be configurable. So let's go ahead and add priority fee there to our buy and sell. And in our main, we just have to adjust our main. In here, we're going to go ahead and buy some tokens. So we're going to modify that. We're going to put in a priority fee in there. And then we're going to reuse the same priority fee. So we need to define this priority fee. Let's just do it up at the top here. We'll call it priority fee. We'll go ahead and set it to, right now, we'll just set it to 100,000. So I didn't explain to you what the units are for this. So this would be in lamp ports. So you already know what lamp ports are. There's 1 billion lamp ports per soul, right? So this is equivalent to, you can do the math on it, but 100,000 is equal to 0.001 soul. All right, so let me just hit play, make sure everything's good in the code, and I got an error. And what is wrong with my token info? Let me go back to tokens API. Here's a little clue. Well, this is red. That means this can't compile. I got a little bug in here. Sorry about that. I will submit the code. Let's just say I did that on purpose. This should show you guys. All right, so nobody's perfect. I just made a little mistake there. Added a colon where I shouldn't have. So there we go. Just set that. It should be working just fine. Let me go ahead and replay that. And yeah, it's asking me for what I want to trade. So that's it, guys. That's how to do it. Let me go ahead and demonstrate it. All right, I'll just pick this token right here. This one seems to be doing okay today. And I'll put that in. Okay, it's gonna buy. And then I received a response. It didn't take more than 5 seconds to do that. And now it's getting the transaction off the chain so it can figure out how much to sell. So remember the idea here. And I wanted you to see this. This is a bug because so we'll go ahead and take care of this now. Basically, what's happening here, it's getting the transaction off the chain. It's asking for the pre-token amount, pre-token balance. It does not have that because I never bought this token before. I don't have a token account made for this. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and do an if and then check that this token balance amounts to something. If we don't have a free token balance, I'm just going to set it to 0. And the same thing goes with post token amount. So if you're doing a sell, there's a chance that your token account will get closed out, which means you won't have a token amount. It'll be 0. So we'll go ahead and make the post token amount to 0 if we don't get it. So I know, by the way, I did upload the code for the last 2 modules. So I will continue to do so for these modules, these free modules. So you can access them. I'll put the link down below. Here it is. If you want to access the code for these modules, you just go into the GitHub repository. If you're not familiar with GitHub, that's fine. What you can do is you can just go to the side here to the releases area. Just click that and you'll be able to just download the code that you want. So obviously the latest code will include everything from below. If you want to skip through it all, just get the one at the top. And I've included links to the YouTube as well here. So have fun with that. It's all free. I'm not charging for any of that. And by the way, if you thought that I included my wallet addresses in here, well, you'll be sadly disappointed. This EMV file right here just has just variables for you to fill out. All right, going back to the code, let me go ahead and replay that. So what it's going to do is it's going to buy more tokens, and then it's going to go and sell everything in my wallet. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, getting that TA back in there, and let me go ahead and see how long it takes. Got a response right away. That wasn't more than 5 seconds. Okay, now it's grabbing the transaction off the chain. That takes a little while for it to register. And there you go. It said I sold, and then now I'm selling, trying, and received a response. Looks like I was successful. All right, and that's it. It's still waiting to get the transaction off the chain so it can, and it did. It finished. So I bought. So initially I had bought 405 tokens for that amount of SOL, and I had bought. Wait a minute. All right, so I just want to bring something else to your attention. So this was not selling all the tokens that I bought, and the reason being is that the decimal place number is different from what I was using in the last lesson. So I'm dealing with a different token. This was not created from Pump.Fun. Pump.Fun tokens have 6 decimal places. Let's just go ahead and take a look at SolScan really quick, just so I can show you what's going on. So if you look at the token page on SolScan, look at this token info decimal. This has 9 decimal places in it. That just means that we have to scale our token amount, our UI token amount, by 9 decimal places. If you look at a Pump.Fun token, let's just choose Popcat with hat. It's doing pretty well. That has 6 decimal places, right? Basically, we just have to take the UI amount that we're given by the API, and we have to multiply that by 10 to the 6, basically, to get the number that we want here. So hopefully that wasn't too complex. You have to know what number of decimal places the token that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with Pump.Fun tokens, it's always going to be 6. It could be variable depending on whatever they set it to. We got that information off the chain, remember? So if we go back to our API tokens API, we have that information. I store it. So this payer token balance, I could hard code it to say 1E to the 9th to fix this. However, this wouldn't be flexible. You would have to know. You don't want to have to go in here every single time to check to add this to your code. That would not be a very good design. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and we're going to calculate on the fly our scaled token balance, basically. So to do that, let's go ahead and get the token info off the chain. We're going to go ahead and get that off the market manager. We have that, remember? And we have a function called get token info. We're going to go ahead and get that for this token. We have the token address it's the user input. So now all we have to do now is create something called scale factor, and we'll do a math function called power of, and what we're going to pass in is we're going to pass in 10 in the exponent, which is the number of decimals, right? So it's got 6, it'll be 6 decimals. Okay. By the way, if you're trying to learn coding, just go to W3 Schools. It's a pretty good resource, and I typed in PAL function here. I searched for PAL. It explains how it works. Good resource. Okay, so now that I have the scale factor, I'll go ahead and you see I have this 1e to the ninth there. I'll multiply the token balance that we get, and I'll multiply it by that scale factor, and then we should get the right sell amount. So let me go ahead and debug this. So I'm going to go ahead and buy a certain amount of tokens, and then we're going to go ahead and try to sell it off. Should only take a few seconds here. Okay, it's buying. All right, receive response. Now it's getting the transaction. All right, so now it's going to sell. I get the token info off the chain, and let me make sure. See, I got the right token decimals in there. It's 9. That's good. So now I'm going to calculate that scale factor. So that'll give me 1e to the 9th, basically. And then I'll go ahead and calculate my sell amount, which should be scaled. So that's all the tokens I have scaled. And now it's going to go in and try to sell it. Okay, it looks like it did go through. It's still waiting to see the transaction there. Okay, finally I got the transaction off there. So it said I sold 398 for 0.001 SOL. Let's make sure that's correct. Let me refresh this. So 398, yeah, for 0.001 SOL. So that's it. We did it. So this will allow you to dynamically change based on the token decimal. So this is an important thing. I'm glad that we experienced this problem here so I can show you how to deal with it. So I'm going to reiterate a little bit on the tokens API. So we use Jupyter, which is fine for this case. Like I said, this is more of a placeholder. This is simplifying the creation of the transaction. It's a little bit more complicated when you're talking directly to the Pump.Fun or directly to the Radium AMM programs. I'm going to show you that in supplemental material, but this is a pretty good method of doing it, but it does get a little more complex when you're talking to the programs directly, and you will have to create the instructions for talking to those programs, and basically that's what this Jupyter API is doing for you under the hood. So just look for that in the bonus material, but you'll have a significant edge if you talk directly to the programs, and you'll have to set your priority fee. You'll have to create priority fee instructions and things like that. So yeah, this hides the complexity for you. It's kind of nice. If you're not doing that many transactions per second, this Jupyter API might suffice for your trade strategy. So just, base it on your needs. So you may not need the bonus material in that case, but just want to give you that option. Okay, the last thing I want to do here is I just want to show you the difference. So let me choose another token first of all. Let me choose another just to demonstrate that the decimal thing is working. I'll choose pop with hat. Let me just do that really quick. That one is a Pump.Fun originated token. So let me go to play, put in that address there. I'm going to start buying. Let's see how long it takes. Okay, less than 5 seconds. And if you really wanted to benchmark this, you could actually do some print statements to show how long it took. And it sold it, and now it's ready for the response. Well, it got a response. It's just waiting for the transaction to get on the blockchain. It's already on the blockchain. It's just that the RPC node doesn't see it yet. All right, so there we go. We got it, and that was pretty good timing right there. For each of those transactions, it took less than 5 seconds to do. If you have access to a dedicated RPC node, you can get these transaction times down to under a second. So that's the advantage to using a dedicated RPC node. But you should do your own benchmarking, do your own experimentation. You may or may not need a dedicated node, but I would say to get a significant edge on competitive coins, you may want to invest in that. And like I said, in the bonus material, I'll teach you how to build one yourself, and you can save a significant amount of money versus renting a node. All right, so let's say that we don't want to add a priority fee. Let me set that to 0, and we'll see if there's any difference there. So depending on the network congestion, frequency of trades on this token, things like that, you may or may not need to set a priority fee, by the way. So you may have to adjust this based on your needs, based on your trading strategies. If you're dealing with highly competitive tokens, you'd probably want to set your priority fees higher. You want to factor in other things like, do you have a dedicated node, RPC node? You may not need to set as high of a priority fee in that case. So these are things to consider. Okay, so I'm doing it without the prioritization fee set, and now you can see some slowdown here. So it's not even going through. It's probably gonna have to retry. I think eventually it will get through, but you can see the difference is night and day. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. It's retrying now. All right, so I finally received a response, but that took significantly longer, you can see. So it's going to try to resell, and then it's probably going to have the same issue. All right, so it actually sold it pretty fast there. So this just demonstrates sometimes you might get your transactions through without a priority fee pretty quickly, but just to be safe, it's better to set a priority fee to ensure that your transactions land. And it did sell that, so we're good. But yeah, on that first try, it did take a while. That was over probably 20 seconds that it took, maybe more. So that could be unacceptable based on your strategy. So yeah, let's just put it back. Let me see. Some of these things are highly competitive. I've seen people put as high as 5 SOL on a priority fee. I don't think you need to do that, but most of the time, putting in this amount, this amounts to like 1 penny or 1 or 2 pennies right now. On highly competitive coins, I put over 30 cents on, but those ones I want to make sure I land, before anyone else. But like I said, it's kind of variable. It depends on network congestion and how competitive the coin is. So let me retry this, just make sure that the last test wasn't a fluke. All right, we'll set our priority feedback there. So let's restart a test. All right, let's try and receive a response right away. And it's going to get the transaction. And we'll talk about ways we can reduce the time it takes to get the transaction. It comes down to having a good RPC node in this case. All right, so it looks like both of our transactions went in way faster than without the priority fee. So that proves that. And then it got the transaction finally. So that pretty much concludes the follow-up. Hopefully that was clear. So I did not include that in the last lesson, and someone in the comments reminded me. I appreciate that. Including priority fees can help you land your transactions faster. But that's all I have. I'm working on the next lesson, so I'm working on getting that out to you soon. We're going to be talking about automation for some basic strategies. So I'll see you in the next one.